Hey everyone and welcome. Today we're diving deep into a threat that's lurking just beneath the surface of our digital lives. It's something that can manipulate everything from social media trends to the security of your crypto. It's a wild story about digital identity and how it can be weaponized on a massive scale.
You know that feeling, right? You post something online and all of a sudden you were just buried under this tidal wave of angry comments that all seem weirdly coordinated. But what if a lot of those accounts aren't different people at all? What if you're actually arguing with a phantom army all controlled by just one person? Well, this isn't just some crazy thought. It's a very real and well-known type of cyber attack.
So this whole phenomenon, one person creating tons of fake identities to basically game a system, it actually has a name. And the backstory behind it is just as fascinating as the threat itself.
It's called a Sybil Attack. The idea is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. An attacker completely subverts a network's reputation system by just flooding it with fake identities. By doing that, they can make one opinion look like a massive consensus. They can rig a vote, or they could even downvote a competitor's product into oblivion. It's all about creating the illusion of a crowd. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The name itself, it was suggested by a researcher at Microsoft, and it's a direct callback to the famous 1973 book, Sybil. The book was a case study of a woman who was treated for what we now call dissociative identity disorder. The name just perfectly captures this idea of a single entity showing up as many, many different identities.
So the bottom line is this. One person, or maybe even just one computer program, can operate hundreds, maybe even thousands of these fake accounts. You'll often hear them called sock puppets. And these aren't just for picking fights in the comment section. They can be used to artificially boost product reviews, manipulate conversations about the stock market, or, as we're about to see, launch some really serious attacks on critical internet infrastructure.
And I have to stress, this is not some theoretical problem. To really get a handle on just how dangerous this can be, let's look at one of the prime targets for these kinds of attacks. Systems that are built on the very idea of privacy and decentralization.
You've got networks like Tor, which are specifically designed to give users anonymity. Well, they're a huge target. And why is that? It's because the whole network relies on thousands of volunteer-run servers or relays to bounce traffic around. So, if an attacker can control a big chunk of those relays using fake identities, they could potentially unmask users or even intercept what they're doing.
And again, this isn't just a what if, it's a real battleground. Back in 2014, there was a major attack that tried to de-anonymize users for months on end. In 2020, an attacker was rewriting Bitcoin addresses to steal people's money. And then, for 4 years, from 2017 to 2021, one single threat actor, who was codenamed KAX-17, ran a truly massive Sybil campaign. Just how massive are we talking? At its peak, this KOX-17 actor was running over 900 malicious servers on the Tor network. Just stop and think about that for a second. One entity pretending to be almost 1,000 different trusted parts of the network, all with the goal of completely destroying user privacy. And to put that into perspective, during that 2020 attack, one malicious operator actually managed to get control of a quarter of all the exit relays. That's the final point where your traffic leaves the Tor network and hits the open internet. By controlling that critical choke point, they were literally able to steal cryptocurrency just by swapping out people's wallet addresses with their own. Okay, so if the threat is that serious, what are we doing about it? Well, this is where you see this constant arms race playing out between the attackers and the defenders. It's a battle to control the very future of digital identity.
So the defenders, they have a whole toolkit of strategies, and each one has its pros and cons. You've got identity validation. That's where you tie an account to something in the real world, like your phone number. Then there are social trust graphs, which basically use your friends to vouch that you're a real person. You can also impose economic costs, like the proof of work that Bitcoin uses, to make it way too expensive to create thousands of fakes. And finally, there's personhood validation, which is all about proving an account is tied to one unique, living, breathing human being.
But this is where things get really tricky. A lot of the easiest ways to stop Sybil attacks, requiring a credit card or a government ID, they totally destroy anonymity. And anonymity is absolutely vital for free expression, especially for people like activists and journalists. So you're stuck in this constant push and pull, this trade-off between making sure people are accountable and protecting their privacy.
So you can see, this isn't just some technical problem for network engineers to solve. It's a debate that really gets to the very core of what we want our digital world to even look like.
At the end of the day, the fight against these phantom armies is really a fight over what it even means to be a real trusted person online. Every solution we come up with seems to introduce its own set of problems, and there are just no easy answers here. It's a constant, evolving struggle. And that really leaves us with this final, lingering question. As AI gets scarily good and creating fake, believable identities becomes easier than ever, the challenge of just proving your own humanity online is only going to get harder. In a world that's going to be more and more crowded with digital phantoms, how will any of us prove we're real?